Okay, picture this. You've got two people sitting on the same couch, watching the exact same TV screen, sleeping in the same bed, but emotionally, it feels like they're living on entirely different planets. How in the world does a couple go from staying up until 2 a.m. sharing their deepest, wildest dreams to barely exchanging 5 words over dinner? Well, today we're bringing you a very special explainer. We are going to explore that quiet drift that happens in so many homes, and way more importantly, exactly how we can fix it. Welcome back to Marriage Insight, a place where we talk honestly about love, commitment, dating, marriage, and the real issues couples face behind closed doors. If you care about building a healthy relationship, preparing wisely for marriage, or strengthening your home, please subscribe to Marriage Insight and follow this channel for more helpful marital and relationship matters. To really wrap our heads around this, let's look at a real-life couple. We'll call them Tunde and Bissy. So they've been married for 7 years now. In the very beginning, they talked about absolutely everything. They laughed all the time. They genuinely just loved being in each other's presence. But over time, things kind of shifted. Bissy started feeling like, well, there's no point talking because he just won't listen. And Tunde, he started feeling like anytime he did try to talk, it immediately turned into a fight. Now, they didn't just wake up one morning and decide to stop communicating. No, it happened slowly. It was a buildup of repeated hurts, poor listening, some harsh words, and arguments that, frankly, just never got resolved. So, what actually caused that drift for Tunde and Bisi? Honestly, it's usually just the everyday pressures that slowly silence a marriage. Think about it. You add kids and that immense, everyday stress of parenting. Then you add the sheer emotional exhaustion that comes from work pressure. Throw in extended family responsibilities and, of course, the heavy weight of financial stress. Slowly but surely, the conversations shift. You stop talking about your feelings, your hopes, your connection, and you only talk about logistics, like who's paying the school fees, whose turn is it to pick up food, what chores aren't getting done. The conversation becomes nothing but a list of complaints, which then breeds this deep, deep fear of conflict. And look, when that communication fully breaks down, the results are pretty heartbreaking. The data we're looking at here from Pew Research paints a really stark reality. 33% of ever-married Americans have experienced a divorce. In just the year 2023 alone, over 1.8 million Americans divorced. That's a staggering number. When couples stop communicating, they stop connecting. And when they stop connecting, the very foundation of the relationship just starts to crumble. This isn't just about feeling a little lonely on a Friday night. It is literally about the survival of your marriage. Section 1. The 4 communication killers and the antidotes to save your relationship. So to fix this, we really need to understand what's actually happening during those super frustrating arguments. Renowned relationship researcher Dr. John Gottman calls these negative communication patterns the 4 horsemen, mainly because they can predict relationship failure with over 90% accuracy. 90%. So the first killer is criticism. Now, this isn't just offering a gentle complaint about something your partner did. Criticism is a direct attack on who they are at their core. It's the difference between saying, hey, I was scared when you didn't call, versus saying, you are so selfish you never ever think of me. See the difference? You're basically dismantling your partner's being. The antidote here? Use I statements. Talk about your own feelings and express a positive need. Say something like, I am feeling super overwhelmed right now and I really need some help, rather than just yelling, you're lazy. Okay, the second killer is defensiveness, which, let's be honest, is almost always a knee-jerk reaction to feeling criticized. We've all been there, right? Playing the innocent victim or digging for excuses so our partner will just back off. But defensiveness is really just this underhanded way of blaming your partner. It basically says, the problem isn't me, it's you. So the antidote to this is incredibly powerful. Accept responsibility. Even if you are only at fault for a tiny, tiny fraction of the conflict, just own that part. Say, you know what? You're right. I did forget to do that. That is my fault. I promise you, it instantly lowers the temperature of the whole argument. But listen, the absolute most dangerous pattern of all is contempt. Dr. Gottman's research actually found that contempt is the single greatest predictor of relationship failure. Period. It goes way beyond just criticism because it assumes this sort of moral superiority over your partner. It looks like sarcasm, name-calling, eye-rolling, mocking them. It makes your partner feel totally despised and worthless. You absolutely have to eliminate this completely from your home. The antidote here is to actively build a culture of appreciation and respect. Focus on what you actually cherish about your partner rather than focusing on the things that annoy you. And the final communication killer is stonewalling. This happens when the listener just completely withdraws, shuts down, and flat out stops responding. It's usually a habit that forms because someone feels physiologically flooded. Their heart rate is up, they're completely overwhelmed, and they just need to escape the situation. The problem is, tuning out doesn't actually solve anything. So the antidote? Stop the conversation entirely. Tell your partner you're feeling overwhelmed. Take a break for at least 20 minutes so your nervous system can literally calm down. And, now this is the most important part, promise to return to the issue later when you are both actually calm.
Moving on to Section 2, Ancient Wisdom for Conflict and Biblical Principles for Communicating in Marriage.
Do you know what's really amazing about all this modern research? It's how perfectly it lines up with ancient wisdom. For Christian couples, the Bible actually offers some incredibly practical, time-tested guidance for dealing with these exact same conflicts. Take James chapter 1, verse 19. It offers the ultimate antidote to almost all our communication issues. It says, "Everyone should be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to become angry." I mean, think about how perfectly this applies to Gottman's research. Being slow to speak, that stops criticism and contempt right in their tracks. Being slow to become angry, that completely stops you from reaching that state of physiological flooding and stonewalling. And being quick to listen, well, that destroys defensiveness entirely. It's brilliant. And on top of that, Ephesians chapter 4 adds this really beautiful layer to it all. Verse 29 commands us not to let any unwholesome talk come out of our mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up. And the verses right around that, it warns against letting the sun go down on your anger. And it actually tells us to get rid of all bitterness, rage, and slander. That is literally the exact opposite of contempt. It's a clear call to use words that heal, words that forgive, and words that build a culture of appreciation and grace right inside your own home. So let's bring this all together and look at a practical solution for a real marriage. Remember Tunde and Bissy from the beginning? Well, here are the exact steps they took to finally find their way back to each other. First, they agreed to just stop the endless cycle of blaming. Hard stop. Second, they scheduled a dedicated 30-minute listening time every single week. During this time, one person spoke while the other person only listened. No interruptions, no getting defensive, just actively trying to understand. And third, they made a really hard rule. Absolutely no discussing serious, heavy issues when they were already angry. And you know what? Over time, these simple, highly practical steps made them feel safe talking to each other again. They completely rebuilt their emotional connection. Here at Marriage Insight, we believe marriage can become better when two people are willing to listen, learn, heal, and grow together. If this message helped you, please subscribe to Marriage Insight and follow us for more insightful marital and relationship matters. Share this explainer with someone who needs to hear it, and let us keep building healthier relationships and stronger homes together. We've looked at the research, the ancient wisdom, and the practical steps, but the real work? Well, that starts when the screen goes dark. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what is one conversation you've been avoiding that could change the entire trajectory of your marriage tonight?